Cloudbuster is already being called OP. But instead of showing max test server gameplay, we're doing something different. No access, no max stars, no whale account, just pure analysis. Let's break down whether she's actually broken or just expensive. Let's take a look at her tactical skill. Hot Loop. When this officer is in a fighter plane troop, increases the troop's normal attack and skill critical strike rate by up to 20% and deals skill damage to the target every 4 seconds up to 900 while in combat. That equals 1800 damage every 8 seconds. This is not extraordinary, but it is solid. Consistent damage. Reliable pressure. Now let's look at her first passive skill. System Override. Increases the damage intensity and damage resist by 15%. This skill is extremely strong. After release, this will be one of the best balanced type skills in the game for air units. Damage and survivability in one slot is huge. Moving on to her second passive skill. Gifted Pilot. Increases the officer skill boost by 25% and its normal attack boost by 25%. Very strong offensive value. Simple. Effective. No downside. Now let's talk about her next skill. Firewall Fracture. When this officer is in a fighter plane, it increases firepower by 30%. Whenever this troop deals skill damage, it reduces the target's damage resist by 3% for 8 seconds. Each fighter plane can trigger this effect one time every 4 seconds, stacking up to 10 times. This skill is extremely good. At full stacks, that is up to 30% damage resist reduction. That means her damage increases continuously during the fight. She is not built for instant burst. She is built for scaling dominance. The longer the engagement lasts, the more pressure she creates. And finally, her awakening skill. Payload Injection. When this officer is in a fighter plane, increases the damage resist by 15%. When the troop lands a critical strike with a skill or normal attack, it increases damage intensity by 10% for 8 seconds. This skill is solid. More survivability. More offensive potential. It rewards critical strike setups and adds extra scaling without being overcomplicated. Let's talk about the training skill. If I had to recommend one skill to transfer, the decision depends heavily on fight duration and team composition. Recent fighter battle reports show that the average engagement lasts around 45 to 50 seconds. That matters. Firewall Fracture reduces enemy damage resist by 3% every 4 seconds. After 40 seconds, that equals minus 30% damage resist. In fights that last 40 seconds or longer, it consistently reaches full stacks. Now let's look at the current air meta. Bladewing and Nighthawk is currently the strongest air damage combination in the game. Nighthawk triggers skill damage every 4 seconds. That guarantees consistent stacking of Firewall Fracture. Bladewing hits every 8 seconds. Each cycle benefits more from increasing defense reduction. Because of that, in high-frequency skill damage setups like Bladewing and Nighthawk, Firewall Fracture offers the higher late-fight damage ceiling. For setups that do not reliably trigger skill damage, System Override remains the safer and more stable option. Now this leads to the bigger question. Is Cloudbuster worth investing in? According to early test results, Cloudbuster paired with Nighthawk performs significantly stronger than the current Bladewing and Nighthawk setup. Some tests indicate that Cloudbuster and Nighthawk may become the strongest air duo in the game. If that holds true, then Firewall Fracture becomes even more impactful. Nighthawk guarantees consistent stacking every 4 seconds. Cloudbuster adds additional firepower scaling and resist reduction pressure. That combination creates strong mid-fight ramping and very high late-fight damage output. So here's the clear answer. If you are competing at the top level in air combat, yes, Cloudbuster is worth it. If she truly replaces Bladewing in the strongest air composition, she becomes a meta-defining officer, not just a minor upgrade. However, if you are not pushing high-level air fights, or your engagements are consistently short, she is powerful, but not essential. Bladewing and Nighthawk will still perform very well. The decision ultimately comes down to one thing. Do you want stable performance or the highest possible air dominance ceiling? And that is where the real discussion begins. If Cloudbuster and Nighthawk truly become the strongest air duo, then this is not just a new officer release. This is a shift in the air meta. So now I want to hear your take. Are you staying with the proven setup? Or are you preparing for the next level of air dominance? Let me know in the comments.